All right, you're all set.
All right, everyone, welcome and good afternoon. This is Committee Member Sellers of the Public Health and Pharmacy Formulary Advisory Committee, and I will now call this special meeting to order. Today is Monday, August 10th, 2026, and it is 1:03 p.m. Public Health and Pharmacy Formulary Advisory Committee meetings are conducted in accordance with the Oregon Public Meetings Law. Under the Public Meetings Law, advisory body meetings are open to the public except as otherwise provided by law. The presiding chair has the authority to keep order and to impose any reasonable restrictions necessary for the efficient and orderly conduct of a meeting. Advisory bodies are authorized by ORS 192.660 to meet in executive session in certain limited situations. All official actions by the committee must be taken by public vote, and the vote of each member must be recorded. I will now take roll call. For the record, when I call your name, please verbally acknowledge here. Committee Member Gibler.
Here.
Committee Member Catherine Hammond. Committee Member Hammond. Okay. Committee Member Schnabel.
Here.
Committee Member Sellers is here. Committee Member Ricka Larson.
Here.
Committee Member Virgin.
Here.
Committee Member Sarah Wickenhagen.
It's on the call. I think she's having audio issues.
Oh, I see you say here, but we didn't hear. Okay. Operations Manager Rachel Melvin.
Here.
Executive Director Gary Runyon.
Here.
And we have another staff member joining us. I'm sorry I was not able to pull up your name. Can you announce yourself?
Yes, Laura Shinoiki.
Excellent. All right.
Okay, so Courtney, for the record, Kat Hammond is absent.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, we will now review housekeeping, meeting etiquette, and public comment information. Committee members and staff members, please silence all of your devices. Please identify yourself as committee or staff member and your last name each time you speak. Please speak clearly and one at a time, as it is critical for the public record. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and retained for public record keeping purposes. We will now review the meeting agenda. When I call your name, please indicate yes or no if you have any proposed revisions to the meeting agenda. And if you do, please announce those revisions. So yes or no, Committee Member Gibler.
No.
Committee Member Hammond is absent. Committee Member Schnabel.
No changes.
Committee Member Sellers says no changes. Committee Member Ricka Larson.
No.
Committee Member Virgin.
Committee Member Virgin, no change.
Committee Member Wickenhagen.
Wickenhagen, no change.
Excellent. Is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda as proposed?
Committee Member Gibler, so moved.
Is there a second?
Committee Member Virgin, seconds.
Excellent. So I will go ahead and do a roll call vote to approve the meeting agenda as proposed. Committee Member Gibler.
Aye.
Committee Member Schnabel.
Aye.
Committee Member Sellers votes aye. Committee Member Ricka Larson.
Aye.
Committee Member Virgin.
Aye.
Committee Member Wickenhagen.
Aye.
Okay, this motion passes. All right, well, we are going to go ahead and start with some new committee member introductions. I would love to congratulate and welcome our newly appointed committee members. Since you are new, please correct my pronunciation of your names if I get it incorrect. We will start with Pharmacist Committee Member Joe Schnabel, whose term is July 6th of this year to July 5th of 2028. Committee Member Schnabel, or Schnabel or Schabel? I see two different.
Sorry,
Schnabel. It's Schnabel, Courtney.
Schnabel. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. See, exactly.
No problem.
Schnabel. Committee
You're
member
closer than most.
Well, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Great. Thank you, Chair Sellers. This is Committee Member Schnabel. I'm a pharmacist. I graduated from Oregon State University with a bachelor's degree in pharmacy back in the day, and then went to Purdue University for my doctor of pharmacy. I did a residency at Indiana University Hospital in pharmacy practice, and then practiced at Salem Health for 31 years as the clinical manager, and then the director of pharmacy for the last 7 years there. Then I joined the Oregon Board of Pharmacy as executive director in 2019 and retired from there in 2023. And I've been retired since then. And that's my
All right.
story.
Thank you so much, Committee Member Schnabel. And then Physician Committee Member, Dr. Stephanie Rickel-Larson, whose term is 7/6/26 to 7/5/28. If you could please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, this is Committee Member Rika Larson. So I went to undergrad at OSU, then I went to medical school and did residency out in Omaha, Nebraska at Creighton University. And then from there moved back to Oregon and did practice in Coos Bay for 10 years, then moved to Roseburg and tried some employed practices, which wasn't a good fit for me. And now I opened my own practice, and that is nice. So here I am.
Oh, thank you so
I do
much,
family
Committee
medicine.
Member. Oh, great.
I guess I should
Excellent.
mention that.
It's helpful. It's good. All right. And I would like to introduce each committee member to briefly introduce yourselves to the new committee members. I will go ahead and get started. I am currently the committee chair, Courtney Sellers. I graduated from Pacific University with a Doctor of Pharmacy in 2009. I can't believe it's been that long. I went into hospital medicine and decided to, or hospital pharmacy, sorry, and did a residency back east at the Maine Medical Center in Portland, Maine, and then came back out west because I was born and raised in the Northwest. And I have been doing primarily ER and ICU pharmacy with some just internal med thrown in. And then for the last 4 years, I have been in leadership, 3 of which are at Providence Milwaukee Hospital in Milwaukee, Oregon as the pharmacy manager. So we'll move on now to Committee Member Gibler.
Okay, I haven't prepared. I'd have to look at my CV to see what I've done.
Well,
I graduated.
you better mention everything. Okay.
Yeah, right. Sounds like no. Yeah. Oh, I'm also an OSU grad, undergrad in 03, and then went and received my doctor of pharmacy from OSU at 07. Completed residency training at Legacy Health at Emmanuel, and worked within the Legacy Health system for several years. Ended up in policy and really enjoyed that, but went back to management and was director of pharmacy for a number of years at Legacy, and then came over to the state right before the Delta wave hit, and I thought I'd tucked everyone in at Legacy, but nope. But came here and all hands on deck at OHA, and I'm the clinical pharmacy manager at OHA, and that was a fun ride during that time too. So been there since, been here since 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Committee Member Gibler. Next is Committee Member, not Hammond is absent, Committee Member Virgin.
Version. I am a family physician. I have been in the Pacific Northwest, oh gosh, my whole life, 5th generation, and went to OHSU, graduated in 95, long time ago. Practiced family medicine with obstetrics here in Southwest Washington. That's where I'm currently working. I had been with Peace Health, overseeing their primary care program in Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. And then I'd been chief medical officer for Oregon ambulatory until last year. And now I am working at Kaiser Permanente. So doing full spectrum family medicine and obstetrics.
Thank you so much, Committee Member Virgin. And Committee Member Wickenhagen.
I've been a nurse for about 30 years. Let's see, I got my BSN in 96, got my master's in 2005, and my cat is trying to make an introduction as well, and got my doctorate in 2013, all up at OHSU. I've done a variety of things, but the last 12 years I've been in regulatory and policy for the Oregon State Board of Nursing. I would say I'm an RN and APRN education practice expert. I answer a lot of scope of practice questions, and glad to be here. And I think that I'm hopefully done, but I think we're looking for a replacement for me soon. No offense, Courtney, you've been amazing.
Oh, well, we will miss you, Committee Member Wickenhagen, but I know that you will continue to go on and do all the wonderful work that you do. So, all right, moving on to the agenda. Is there any discussion on the draft 2027 or on the draft January 27th, 2026 special PFAC meeting summary? Did everybody have a chance to review that? Oh no, now I've lost my, sorry guys, hold on one sec.
Okay, Courtney, so if there's no discussion, next is just the motion. Did you lose your agenda?
I did. I lost my
Oh.
agenda. It's back now. I apologize. Okay. Well, is there a motion to approve the January 27, 2026 special PFAC meeting summary?
This is Committee Member Virgin. So moved.
Is there a second?
This is
I
Committee
may have
Member
been,
Wickenhagen.
okay.
Oh,
yeah,
second.
You were there too, yeah, okay.
All right, we will go through a roll call vote. Please let me know yay or nay if you approve or do not approve the summary to the last PFAC meeting. Committee Member Gibler.
Aye.
Committee Member Schnabel.
I will abstain, having not been there. And I don't think I even saw the summary, so I should have looked. Not sure I got it.
That is okay. Committee Member Sellers approves. Committee Member Rika Larson.
I abstained because I wasn't there.
Okay. Committee Member Virgin.
Aye.
Committee Member Wickenhagen.
I approve.
All right, this motion passes. We will move on and begin our review and discussion with mailing A regarding the influenza vaccine protocol with Executive Director Runyon. So I will pass this on to you.
Executive Director Runyon, good afternoon, everyone. Special welcome to our new members and welcome back to our old members or seasoned members. We'll say that. We appreciate you making time, especially on such short notice, to be here. And as I communicated to our licensees last week, we're continuing to navigate what's an unprecedented landscape of uncertainty at the federal level as we approach respiratory vaccine season. And of course, you're all probably well aware the recent injunction that stayed the appointments to the ACIP. So essentially, it rendered the ACIP unable to form a quorum. And because of this, all ACIP decisions since June 11th, 2025 were essentially nullified. And so from the practical standpoint, that means that the active federal influenza recommendations have effectively reverted back to the 2024 guidelines issued in August. Adding to the complexity is the PrEP Act. As mentioned in that communication as well, we're aware that certain individuals and outlets have determined they meet the criteria for qualified person or covered person under the PrEP Act to vaccinate individuals for influenza right now. As stated previously, I can't comment on that matter at this time or on the validity of the HHS's position regarding the preemption of state law. But even if those two things are true and applicable, it would still beg two critical questions. Number one, what would happen if that authorization, immunity, and liability, what would happen to at the moment the injunction is reversed? And number two, what if the PrEP Act itself is canceled altogether? So that precarious reality is the reason we're here today. We need to discuss the potential for state level solutions that will proactively circumvent this federal uncertainty, which is exactly in line with the broader vision behind the formation of the West Coast Health Alliance last September. So we anticipate that the AAP, or American Academy of Pediatrics, and the AFP, American Academy of Family Physicians, will release their respective respiratory virus vaccine updates between early August and September. And given those schedules, the West Coast Health Alliance is not likely to meet until the end of September. But as we all know, certain individuals might be eligible for influenza vaccination right now. So part of our intent here today is to make these board excluded protocols universal, or essentially bridge the gap between general recommendations and season specific formulations. Of course, this may ultimately depend on the board's interpretation of its own protocols, and we'll be having that discussion in public session later this week on Thursday, August 13th, and the links for that, of course, on our website. So the proposed amendments we'll discuss today will be instrumental in the board making that determination. So without further ado, we'll turn our attention to the screen for the influenza vaccine protocol. So under the What's New section, I kept part A, which last season was just an introduction to what the West Coast Health Alliance was. So we still kept that because it forms a foundation of the recommendations that are still present. And we added something in part B, which is an iteration of some of the information I included in the communication I sent to licensees and just read over. So it's just giving an outline of when we expect those updated respiratory vaccine recommendations to come out, and the fact that they are, or have been, last year, dependent upon the primary recommending bodies such as the AAP and AFP. And so this will just keep impending updates on the pharmacist radar, especially those that may not pay attention to all of the communications that we send out, the board meetings, etc. We'll scroll down. There are very few updates here. Inadvertently, when we wrote these last year, when you approved them and made it through the board's approval process, we unwittingly wrote them in such a way that for the most part, for the majority of patient subpopulations, they could still be interpreted to apply this year. Again, that's dependent upon the board's interpretation of its own protocol. So you'll see the things in highlight that we did change, and C is just a reference. And then what you'll see in A and B, in an effort to tailor these in such a way that they would be universally applicable or require a minimal amount of upkeep from year to year, and we just struck all of the information that was specific to the 2025-2026 formulations. And it's my intent not to replace those. Of course, all that information will be in the package inserts, which we also reference later in the protocol. Move down to number 2. Again, in an effort to evergreen these protocols, if you will, we removed the specific dose volumes. And so this would read, administer a dose IM of an appropriate influenza vaccine. And then underneath that, for the intranasal formulation, it would read, administer a dose intranasally, if appropriate, to persons greater than or equal to 2 years of age. And Chair Sellers, I'll stop right there to see if anyone has any questions. We go any further.
Yes, I see Committee Member Gibbler's hand up.
Thank you, Committee Member Giller. I wonder if it would be appropriate to instead administer the FDA approved dose instead of a dose, or some other clarifying approved statement that could be documented and reconciled against.
Executive Director Running. So thank you, Committee Member Gibbler. So he's saying something like administer the recommended dose or a recommended dose IM of an appropriate influenza vaccine. Would that bridge the gap there?
These are FDA approved, right? With the with the doses in the package insert that they could be reconciled against. So instead of a recommended dose, my question was, can we say FDA approved dose? If we say a recommended dose, then we have to clarify whose recommendation, which I'm not sure how that's working right now. That could be, there's a lot of recommendations apparently.
This is committee member Sellers. Are we sure the FDA is going to be approving these doses?
I don't have any reason to believe they won't. I do have concern with the CDC, but I don't have concern with the FDA. But I know I guess nothing's guaranteed at this point.
I see committee member Rika Larson has her hand up.
Could we, yeah, this is committee member Rika Larson. Could we say a dose as recommended by the manufacturer of the formulation selected or something to that effect? That way we don't have to rely on the FDA's approval, but it's clear that the dose that we're wanting is the dose that's officially assigned to each product.
Okay. This is committee member Giller. The problem is if it's not FDA approved, no one's getting any vaccine.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying the
So,
manufacturer recommended dose. So like Fluvival, if it's 0.05, it would be 0.5,
the thing is,
etc.
those are FDA approved, right? So
Oh, they are. Okay.
the label has to be approved by the FDA. The
I see.
Dose.
Never mind then.
Yeah. So I was just thinking if FDA approved dose is the simplest way to say it, but I welcome other comments if I'm missing. I just don't know if administer a dose as originally written is clear for a protocol.
Courtney, committee member Schnabel's hand is up.
Yes, committee member Schnabel.
Yes, committee member Schnabel. I think I agree with committee member Gibler because the manufacturer approved dose is typically the FDA approved dose, or the manufacturer recommended dose is what's in the package labeling, which is FDA approved. And I haven't been keeping up that much with what's going on over there, but I think the FDA continues to approve package labeling with each product that enters the market. So I think the FDA approved and the manufacturer recommended doses are really the same thing.
Thank you, committee member Schnabel. Does anybody else have any questions, or can we move on and leave the FDA approved dose for now?
Yeah, this
Committee Chair Sellers. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Committee Chair Sellers, do we have 4 or more? We have consensus.
Yeah, consensus, and this committee member Gibler just added to the intranasal, that language to the intranasal as well.
And I'm fine with that language. It sounds like committee member Schnabel, are you fine with that language?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can we get one more okay, and then we can continue with the protocol?
Committee member Virgin, I also approve this change.
Thank you.
Executive Director Runyon. Staff member Melvin, could we change that to administer and?
Yes,
FDA?
sorry, yeah.
Thank you. And you see there in 3, it's just a change to the references at the bottom. Nothing else in that section's changed. And then here in section 4, and we had to update this chart as well. So I believe we would have the option to excise this altogether or get rid of it altogether if we want. Just depends on what direction the committee wants to take. So this is differentiating between those children who would need 1 dose or 2, depending on the timing and the age. So we have July 1st, 2026, just updating that from last year and keeping in line with the language we previously recommended, which again, we could update that in line with the updates that we just made. It says 1 dose or 2 of an appropriate influenza vaccine. I think some of that may have disappeared inside the box. We may have to make the entire box a little bigger. So in other words, we could say, in line with the changes we just made, 1 dose of and 1 FDA-approved dose of appropriate influenza vaccine. And then I'll go ahead and introduce the change to number 5, and I'll turn it back over to Chair Sellers. And so one of the instances where we did mention the 25-26 formulation that need to change if we wanted to make this evergreen was for pregnant patients. So in 5A, it says all planning, pregnant, postpartum, and lactating may receive, did say, and a 2025-26 influenza vaccine. So we changed that to an appropriate influenza vaccine. Again, we could make the same modifications there to include the FDA-approved influenza vaccines, if you'd like. And with those, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Sellers.
Thank you, Executive Director Runyon. Shall we, I guess I will ask the question, do we want to, as the committee, just be consistent with our language and say an FDA-approved vaccine in these tables as well? Committee member Schnabel. Sorry, Schnabel.
That's okay. Do we want to say FDA-approved dose rather than FDA-approved vaccine, I guess? I don't know. To me, that seems more consistent with our language to talk about the dose being the FDA-approved part. Anyway,
yeah,
whatever the committee feels.
This is Committee Member Sellers. I think that makes sense. Committee Member Gibler, you came off mute.
Yes, yes, to be consistent, we'll just continue with that same language.
Same stuff, or no?
Yeah.
I can't.
Executive Director name. So it'll be 1 in the lower left, for example, 1 FDA-approved dose of an appropriate influenza vaccine. Am I hearing that correctly, Chair Seller?
Yes.
And leave influenza and, or I'm sorry, leave vaccine and. Okay. Can't amend the table. It won't let me open it. So
Okay.
if it's the version that we're in, I'll have to just do it on the fly. Okay, so we'll amend both of those. And this down here as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is Staff Member Melvin. Instead of amending this in real time, this version's giving me a little bit of grief. I will just amend this on the back end while you all can continue your discussion if you would like.
Okay. And I think we can turn it back over to Executive Director Runyon.
Executive Director Runyon. Continuing through number 6, we didn't have any changes there. And then changes to 7, the contraindications were just to the references at the bottom. Same thing with the storage and handling. So those sections just refer the individual to the package inserts where all of the manufacturer-specific information is going to be. And then in number 9, of course, we just changed the references and updated those to the 26-27 formulations. So a couple of things to consider here. Do we want to continue to include these at all? Understanding that from year to year, even if the board interprets its protocols to apply year over year, if there are no changes to the general recommendations, understanding that we'd still have to come back and make changes to these references at some point. It may not prohibit someone from using it. Of course, we probably need advice for that part, but does the committee see value in leaving these references, which would be specific to the seasonal formulation, or should we cut out all of the references to the package inserts altogether? Chair Sellers, I'll turn it back over to you with that question.
Yes, I would be in favor of removing the links to the package inserts that are specific for this year to avoid having to change it every year if there's no additional changes, but I want to open it up to other folks and see what their thoughts are. Committee Member Gibler.
Yeah, Committee Member Gibler, the nice thing about saying FDA approved doses, now we don't really need to reference these package inserts. The pharmacist can go to the FDA website or the manufacturer and download the latest package insert. So I think it wouldn't make sense to leave these as references and change them year by year. Even more evergreen, hopefully.
I love it. Thoughts of other committee members?
This is Committee Member Wickenhagen. I think less is more, so I'm all for this.
This committee member Schnabel, I agree. I think it's easier to just leave them out.
Perfect. And this is Committee Member Sellers. Is that all you have to present on this particular protocol?
Executive Director Runyon, I believe so. Now that we agreed on that change, Staff Member Melvin, could you scroll up to make sure that there aren't any corresponding changes? Or scroll up, sorry.
Yeah. These were just the priors we were replacing. Okay, that's it.
So let's look at number 6 and 7.
Oh, because you said it.
Yeah, it's good.
So you have one here.
So I'm just taking a look here to see if there are any instances where, since we did include references to the package inserts that we're striking, if we could include some language where appropriate or if necessary, to kind of elucidate where we got this information from or where the individual could find it. And I think consistent with a couple of other protocols from last year, we were referring to the information as the current prescribing information, right? Understanding that it could be in print from the package insert, or it could be online. So I think as we see there in D, see current prescribing information for more details. And just make sure that those are consistent across. If you want to go down to number 7, contraindications. Okay. Like I say, the same thing there. So Committee Member Sellers, I'll turn it back over to you with that last question as to whether or not the committee feels those general statements are sufficient in lieu of all of the references to the package inserts. Essentially see current prescribing information for more details about the section specific information like contraindications, storage and handling, precautions, etc.
Thank you. This is Committee Member Sellers. Does anybody have any thoughts on keeping it as simple as possible and referencing back to the current prescribing information only?
This is Committee Member Gibler. I don't have an issue actually leaving this language in here because it is consistent year after year. If anything changed where all of a sudden someone with a history of an allergic reaction could receive it, which isn't going to happen. We could take it out, but Guillain-Barré and history of severe allergic reactions are consistent all the time. We can say referred that, like refer section 6. I think, oh, that's section 6 in this protocol. Okay, not section 6 in the package insert. Okay, so I think. And even the immunocompromising conditions are consistent. Stem cell transplant, that's consistent. I think the wording is, refer to current prescribing information for, it says for more details. Yeah, I really don't have, there is so important, that information. I know it's so obvious, but it's also so important that I don't mind leaving it in there, but if it wouldn't be wrong to delete that information, just say see current prescribing information for more details either. I just like that wording, leaving that in there, the A, B, and C in this case.
This is Committee Member Sellers. I thought that last year they removed the egg protein component. So I guess that's why I was a little bit hesitant and thinking we could get rid of some of this information and just reference the prescribing information. because I know that at Providence we did make a big push to not be as overly aggressive about that particular.
Yeah, I think that was
Warning.
in reference to a history of
Mhm.
an allergy, but not actually a severe allergic reaction, which is what
Mhm.
this protocol is referring to.
Okay.
But that's what I recall anyway from memory.
Okay. Yeah. Then I am fine leaving those sections as it is because you are right. They do carry over year to year. Does anybody else have any thoughts?
We need to hear from 2 more people. So, I'm sorry, this is staff member Melvin. So Courtney, when we don't have enough, you may just have to do a round robin and ask every person. Sorry.
This is committee member Virgin. I support keeping those changes. Sorry, that was nebulous. Approving those, maintaining it as it stands.
This is committee member Schnabel. I agree and agree with leaving them in as they are currently written.
This is committee member Sellers. So I believe that's 4 of us, and that's what we need then to move on to the next part of the agenda. Is that correct?
Yes. Unless there's other questions, we can move to the next if you're ready.
Okay. Is there a motion to move to recommend the influenza protocol version 8/2026 as revised to the Oregon Board of Pharmacy for review?
Committee member Gibler, so moved.
Is there a second?
Committee member Virgin seconds.
Okay, then I will take a roll call vote. So you can vote yes, opposed, you can recuse or abstain or cite a conflict. Committee member Gibler.
Aye.
Committee member Schnabel.
Yes.
Committee member Sellers votes yes. Committee member Rika Larson.
Yes.
Committee member Virgin.
Yes.
Committee member Wickenhagen.
Yes.
All right, this motion passes. We will continue to review our mailing of A1 regarding the RSV vaccine protocol with Executive Director Runyon. I'll pass that on to you.
Executive Director Runyon. Thank you, Chair Sellers. So the same amendments here in the What's New section. And so just a recap of the previous recommendations from West Coast Health Alliance, forward-looking statement, which is the same as what you'd seen in the influenza protocol. We'll scroll down. Melvin, nothing changing there in terms of the immunization protocol itself or those recommendations. In number 3, the vaccine schedule. The only change here, there's nothing substantive. However, I realized as I was going through this, in this table, we have references to the information below the table, and they're numbered 1, 2, and 3. And the references at the end of the document in the references section are also 1, 2, and 3. So essentially, I just changed the characters here so we don't add to any confusion. And scroll further down. And then throughout the protocol, aside from that, we only have changes to the references below. So then we have West Coast Health Alliance recommendations as number 1, and then the package inserts, which of course, as we all know, are not seasonal formulations. And so those have not changed since the dates listed there. And aside from the versioning that's changed, that is all I have. Chair Sellers, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Executive Director Runyon. Does anybody have any comment?
This is Committee Member Wickenhagen. I'm happy to put a motion forward to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Committee member Schnabel seconds.
Okay, we will go ahead and do a roll call vote. Committee
I'm
member.
sorry, this is Staff Member Melvin. So for our motion, Courtney, we need to hear the name of the protocol and the
Oh, I'm
version that
sorry.
we are. I'm sorry. Yes,
I apologize, everyone.
that's okay.
Is there a motion to move to recommend the respiratory syncytial virus protocol version 8/2026 as proposed to the Oregon Board of Pharmacy for review?
So moved. Committee Member Wickenhagen.
Is there a second?
Committee member Schnabel seconds.
Excellent. We will go through with the roll call vote. Committee Member Gibler.
Aye.
Committee Member Schnabel.
Aye.
Committee Member Sellers approves. Committee Member Rika Larson.
I approve.
Committee Member Virgin.
Approves.
Committee Member Wickenhagen.
Proofs.
All right, then this motion passes. We will continue with review of mailing B with Staff Member Melvin.
All right, thank you, Staff Member Melvin. Now that you've reviewed and approved the protocols as revised or as proposed, the committee just needs to vote on sending the proposed rule OAR 855-115-0345 to the board. And staff will present this as a temporary rule on Thursday for the board's consideration. And I will just scroll down here. Because these particular vaccines are in rule separately, they're called a board excluded vaccine protocol. We are going to change 5 little b and c, and it's just the version is changing. So these are going to both be 8 of 2026. So back to you, Chair Sellers, for any questions.
All right, does anyone have any questions? Okay, is there a motion to recommend proposed amendments to OAR 855-115-0345 to the Oregon Board of Pharmacy for review?
Committee member Gibler, so moved.
Is there a second?
Committee Member Virgin seconds.
All right, we will do a roll call vote. Committee Member Gibler.
Aye.
Committee Member Schnabel.
Aye.
Committee Member Sellers votes yes. Committee Member Rika Larson.
Aye.
Committee Member Virgin.
Aye.
Committee Member Wickenhagen.
Aye.
All right, this motion passes. Is there a motion to move to adjourn the meeting at 1:46 p.m.?
So moved. This is Committee member Gibler.
Is there a second?
Second, committee member Schnabel second.
Okay, we will do a final roll call vote. Committee Member Gibler.
Aye.
Committee Member Schnabel.
Aye.
Committee Member Sellers votes yes. Committee Member Rika Larson.
Aye.
Committee Member Virgin. Oh, I think we lost Committee Member Virgin.
It's just frozen.
Aye.
Committee Member Wickenhagen.
Aye.
All right, this motion passes. I think that we are able to adjourn. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining.
All right.
I appreciate
you.
you. All right.
Thank you all.
Goodbye.
Thank you all.
Thank
Bye.
you.